But I flew into Nairobi, Kenya, and then got a flight into Eldoret. And then very, very quickly, with Brother Lukwa, got into a public bus, and maybe went about 4 hours until the road stopped. And then about another 3-4 hours by car on the off-road. And then where we worked, Matthew, my son, went with me. He's in 10th grade. And where we worked, we were just a 15-minute walk from the Uganda border. And we were there in the Pokot villages where people, you go way back in time, no electricity. People are just herdsmen in that area. So a lot of goats and a lot of sheep and a lot of cattle. And then occasionally I would see some camels. One Sunday morning, I was at one of the church plants we did recently, and we were out meeting underneath a tree. They built a larger structure. They needed it because they had a big congregation. They need some money for a roof yet. But there we had to have Sunday school class with the young people. Probably about 100 to 110 children came. And then they went on back home. There was no room for them. The adults had to come the second hour. But during the adult service, a whole herd of camels come through. So we're kind of out into a little bit of the desert area. The people are nomadic. They'll move over and take their herds during the month of November, December, January, February into Uganda. There's a little bit more grass there. So the boys, they take them out of school. The parents, the men, all the adult men will take the herds over there, but very, very poor. So let me just share. So you can think on, there's areas this way, all of them living in mud huts, grass roof, and very poor. So the families would all eat one time a day. 8 o'clock at night would be their meal. A lot of it would just be rice. They would just eat rice and that's it. The pastor on Sunday morning, I observed, so the Kenyan shillings, what he was able to gather together for offering, and what he would pretty much typically average, live by week after week, the Kenyan shillings, if you convert that to our English US dollar, and he's serving and working for his church, he has no other job, he got $1.75. That's what he lived off per week. In there, in the offering plate as well, someone put in, there was 3 chicken eggs in there, and then 4 ears of corn. And so when I went to Tanzania, very, very similar. When I went into Tanzania, the offerings were similar that way as well. A Sunday morning, very little bit of money came in, and someone brought 2 stalks of sugar cane and then a live chicken. The feet were tied up so the chicken wouldn't escape, but when I was in the middle of my preaching, the chicken escaped. He stayed up on the platform, but he was moving around a bit. But very, very poor. There's 6 church planters there, and they're all living by faith, living by whatever the people will give them in that offering. They say that that $1.75 even goes down more. So when the men leave, the women don't really make the choices on the offerings. So when the men leave and go to Uganda for those 4 months and take the herds, their offerings pretty much nothing, zilch. And they just leave on whatever someone can help them as they're trying to pastor. So 6 different church plants. The one missionary we left there, Brother Wilson too, he's doing a phenomenal job. Left him with the Jesus film pack. When I was there in Kenya, we ended up doing 20 different schools. We ended up showing the Jesus film 5 different times in the evening. We left that with him. He had no motorbike. He was on foot, and he was the one that got that $1.75 to live off for that week. And we left, and by the end of the month, in a matter of 3 weeks, he showed the Jesus film after we left 17 times in 3 weeks. And he would just walk it to the villages.